Okay. Oh God, that's horrible. Hello, and welcome to my talk, which is going to be completely code-free, and it's talking about how I'm so happy to be stuck with you. Bit blurry. Opening line from the song. I think I've skipped a couple of things. Right, I'm going to start with this then. So I'm Andy Robinson. I'm the head of tech for Comprend London. The London office of Comprend. Twitter, Instagram, usual rubbish. I'm a developer with 10 years plus experience, done lots of CMSs. I like old cameras at the moment, and I used to be a forklift driver. I work for Comprend. There's a crowd of us coming just to see me from Comprend, doubling the audience. And everything we do is about making our clients communicate better. Comprend have got 20 years experience. We've got offices in London, Stockholm, Lisbon, Milan. There's 80 odd people working for us. We do stuff. And we're part of a larger group called the H&H Group, which is a lot of Swedish companies, and we're the London outfit. Here's some of our clients. Big names, you might have heard of some of them. We're going to be talking about a project for William Hill. And about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, they came to us saying, we need some kind of employee website, some way to engage their employees around the world. Can you help us? So there was a stakeholder engagement piece, gathered all the requirements, worked out what it is they kind of wanted. They want some social content polls, news, some way to engage with their employees. They've got people in shops in the UK and in offices and all around the world. In Australia, they've got a betting place there, and online gambling in Australia. They've got Las Vegas. They've got some instances too. They want to get rid of some of their old Office, some old legacy websites, and work with some of the other tools that they're using. Slides. So basically, from a mess to something a bit more organized. They've got 5 separate some of the IT challenges we also discovered. They've got 5 separate Active Directories around the world. 4 of them are federated into one single Azure Active Directory, which is useful, but Australia isn't. The information that's in AD is very basic. They've got 1,000 retail users in the UK. None of them are in Active Directory, and we need to engage with them as well. Also, frequent turnover, employee headache, and they're rolling out Wi-Fi in shops and tablets into all the shops as well. So that's how they're meant to be engaging with the users. So what we're going to build? No idea. So we started with user story mapping. We knew the requirements, we knew the challenges, but what are we actually building? We know that there needs to be some kind of site. So I did some reading, I read a book about user story maps, and it seemed to be a good way to get going. Has anybody ever used them before? Done mapping with stories? It's quite interesting if you like that sort of stuff. Essentially, it looks a bit like this. You create an activity, you step some stuff, and just post-its all over the wall, and just a big 3D map of everything you need to do. I just tend to start with things to focus with at the top. So the types of users, the goals, the ideas, and the product principles. So these are the product goals: employee directory, be the umbrella, employee engagement, replace legacy sites, Yammer, Office 365. The ideas and the product principles. Stuff that when we were listing things up, it needs to work on tablet and desktop. It needs to be responsive. Headless Umbraco. Do what Umbraco does. We decided Umbraco is going to be the solution, part of the solution anyway. Personalization. Types of users. So obviously we've got the CMS users and the editors and admins and content authors there. We've also got the types of non-Office 365 users who are in the shop, Australia as well. The people that are on Office 365 and the 4 active directories that we have to deal with there. Better looking at this. So here's a map that we started piling out for news, for example. So we just started with news. It's like, well, what is news? We need to be able to add, edit news. We need to be able to show an archive, filter the archive by categories, by region, by user specifications when you log in. We need to try and work out who you are. Trending, that was quite a cool idea. Never actually got it working. Search. Yeah, we want search, but what are we doing? We want to search contacts. Oh, with the user story map, you're sticking things up, you have ideas sticked up on the wall as well. Some rough, dodgy design, which doesn't look like it at all anymore. So it's all about throwing ideas up on the board and working it out and collaborating, coming together. And eventually you might have something that looks a little bit like that. I tried to do one of those panoramas on my phone and not brilliant, but not bad. While you're going through as well, try and pick up the challenges, things that you know are going to be a problem. Stick that up in an area as well, and just keep referring back to this, keep adding to it. We knew that the Active Directory is going to be a problem. Doing a headless CMS preview is a problem. Yammer, we didn't know how we were going to integrate with Yammer at all. They just said integrate with Yammer. How are we going to do this? Training. Front-end framework, what framework are we going to use to start off with? Are we going to build our own, or are we just going to use Bootstrap and take it easy? So the headless CMS, the architecture. As we're building this out, we knew that the authentication was going to be an issue. So we couldn't just do an Umbraco website, because we have to work with Azure Active Directory plus something nice for the Australian users. I'm walking around the stage quite a lot, aren't I? Sorry. So we knew this was going to be a problem. So we decided to go with a headless CMS system. The users go into the employee website in the middle, API calls to Umbraco, which obviously is all into the database. The site assets are in blob storage, everything's on Azure, I forgot to mention that. So it's all in blob storage. The search engine, we decided to use Azure search so we could talk to that directly rather than to have to rely on examine. Social media feeds, betting stats, and this gives us then a solution where we can grow and do more, and if they wanted to in the future, talk to SharePoint, for example, or Documentum for documents. So turn this more into an intranet platform. So we got the user stories. We agreed, we were happy with what we had. It was time to start estimating and working out how we're going to plan the sprints. So we put it all into a spreadsheet to start off with, turn them into proper user stories. As a brand manager, I want to share brand assets so that colleagues can use consistent templates. Created an extra column for notes as well, just kind of random thoughts. Template requirement, we need a news article template. To-do lists. So we need to start prioritizing. Moscow, does anybody know Moscow? Yeah? So Moscow, fairly simple thing, blah, blah, blah. Basically, we just tag each of the user stories. We did it, first of all, between ourselves, and then we did this with the clients as well. Kind of going through every single line item, every single user story, deciding what they think is a priority, what's not a priority. Obviously, there's things, technical things that would be. So everything that we must build in order to build a solution. These are things, yeah, must have, should, things that, will make the website usable. Like a design, maybe we should have a design. And then could and would be nice to have, or won't have this time. We also categorize some things like that, like blog posts and trending news. Oh, there we go. So an extra column appeared. And we knew that we had to then plan the sprints. We decided that we would have, I think, for 6 sprints. There we go, for a project of 6 sprints. So after categorizing everything in those 4 categories, we found that we could do everything in must, everything in should, and we could do a couple of things in could. So it's given us a bit of flexibility. It's just absolute luck that we managed to do this. And it fitted in. So, the build. How am I doing on time? Running through too quickly. Okay, good. So, the build. The complex bit. So, we've actually worked out what we're going to build. So, we had to start building it. The challenges, the headless CMS. We at Comprend have never done a headless CMS with Umbraco before. It was interesting and it threw its own challenges. No preview. We're so used to people being able to click the preview button and seeing what you got. It's just, we would have to hook in and do something, and we had to use a story for that to try and work out a preview sequence, but we ended up bumping it off. Umbraco forms in a headless CMS is not well documented. Somehow we managed to find some APIs that we could, or some methods that we could actually inject stuff into the Umbraco forms ourselves. Authentication, Active Directory, Azure Active Directory. I mentioned earlier that, I'm going through it all too quickly. Headless CMS. So yeah, that's what headless CMS looks like. There's a talk coming up about headless CMSs from Per. So if you want to know more about headless CMSs, go there after this one. There were some challenges. There's no preview. We need to rebuild some of the helper methods. So get links, parsing links in the rich text editors, our own image cropper, consuming the grid editor, for example. Authentication. So as I said earlier, membership should be, there we go, 5 active directories around the world, 4 federated into a single AD instance. Australia's not. We should also use the directory, the membership directory, the users as the basis of an employee directory, and the site should be restricted, so only people that work for William Hill can log into the site. AAD doesn't have much information. Office 365 doesn't have much information. We have their name, their email address, sometimes their job title, and whatever security groups they're in, or Office 365 groups, which are different, but as far as AD is concerned, it's the same thing. We're missing the telephone numbers and location division information, so we have to try and augment this. So where we're going to store this, is store it with the rest of the users, put it in Umbraco members. So yeah, most users log in to the website with an Office 365 login. It bumps them off, comes back again. With Australia, we created a self-registration method restricted to people only signing in, well, registering with a William Hill Australian email address. And the other stuff that's from the users in Office 365 that are not in, that we can't get from Office 365, we're storing into Umbraco 2 as members. So it just, when you log in, you log in with Office 365 and then you come back and then we get the other information down from Owen, which is what I'm saying here. Blah. And so we built it and the website works. There were some other things, there were some videos and stuff which I could talk about, but I didn't think I had enough time. So some random stats, I literally just pulled this out of Google Analytics earlier, including my cursor. There we go. So the website launched 4 weeks ago, and yeah, everyone around the world is starting to use it. 2,000 odd users, a couple hundred things. I don't know, I'm not really au fait with stats. UK's biggest market, Gibraltar, Israel, Bulgaria. There we go. And I made a video. And this is how it looks. Yes, it works. That's cool. So this is the home page. We've got regional personalized news at the top, Twitter feeds down the bottom here. A footer. Scroll up. So the news list is basically just a great big faceted search thing. We can filter by function, news. This is a news article. I go back into the news again. So yeah, you can filter by function, division, and locations, which is quite nice. Azure Search is great when you get it working. Its problem is just trying to pump your data in there. We're completely happy with it. We've also got the, didn't see it there, maybe we'll go back to it, you'll see this. Comments are, this is where we're using Yammer. It's gone now. So we're using Yammer for a comments thing, so basically like a discuss iframe at the bottom. So the comments are stored in Yammer and people can then contribute within Yammer itself. Another quote, yes, I'm happy to be stuck with you. There we go. Thank you. Any questions? No code.
Why did you choose a headless CMS?
The authentication, basically, it was the extendability. I did have a slide for it. I hid it. Yeah, it's so we could bolt on additional things in the future. We could upgrade the website in the future without affecting the CMS. Perhaps we would want to. It's currently an MVC app at the moment, but it may change in the future to be a mobile app or a other type of app potentially. So we wanted to completely separate the two, although we're relying heavily on the CMS Umbraco to do all sorts of things. It's kind of the hub of information, and then we're kind of yeah, that's kind of the main reason. And the authentication, just kind of hooking into Office 365 and also a non-Office 365 login as well, a custom login method, which is stored in Umbraco, and potentially another system in the future. We don't know. Who knows what William Hill's going to buy out soon. Any more questions?
What did you do about preview in the end?
We ignored it. It's in the backlog, and yes, we ignored it. So we're relying on the grid editor. The grid editor is kind of a preview anyway, so you can kind of see roughly what it's going to look like, and you can save it. And if somebody wants to test a page, then we have the staging sites where they can create things separately and publish that, or you can publish it as a hidden page and kind of know what the URL is. So yeah, there's workarounds. It's not brilliant. There are bugs. It's only 4 weeks in, and but it's stable. People are using it. They love it, William Hill. They're yeah, totally happy, hopefully. So they tell us.
Is there a reason you used Azure Search over Examine?
So examines attached to Umbraco, and we would have a single thing. No reason in particular. Facets. There we go. We could do faceting with Azure Search, which you can't really do with Examine at the moment. Everything then is stored centrally in Azure. I've also had problems with Examine on Azure websites where it just tends to slow down the website, especially if you've got lots of nodes. So I think the recommendation certainly from last year's talk, can't remember who did the talk about it, he did a little talk, was, yeah, try and kind of move away and go for one centralized search system rather than having lots of nodes, potentially. Okay? Any more? Let me go. So this is my first talk, so I was pretty nervous, and you can tell. So Comprend, we've just moved into a brand new, spanking new office at Shad Thames, literally yesterday. And we've now got space to grow. So we're hiring all sorts, designers, developers, office managers, cleaners, anybody. So that's our careers website, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter and our website. And that's it.
Is it built in Umbraco?
No. No, it's WordPress. No, it's not WordPress. The last one was. Okay. Thank you.